welcome to Toys in the Hood. Today I'm going to talk about the similarities between Warhammer 40,000 and Rebel Moon. Over Christmas, along with 24 million other people, I watched Rebel Moon. Rebel Moon is the new, it's Zack Snyder's new sci-fi franchise. It's on Netflix. They've invested in it in a big way. It's part one of what is supposed to be a trilogy, and then there's talk of sequels and prequels as well. So it should be a really big thing. I liked it. Some people didn't. You guys are all grown-ups. You can make up your own mind. But what I think nobody will disagree with is me when I say is that it's a bit derivative. A lot of it feels familiar. There's elements of Star Wars, Dune, Blade Runner. It's kind of a melting pot of different science fiction and fantasy tropes. In fact, the plot itself is basically a Battle for the Stars. Well, Battle for the Stars is a sci-fi reimagining of the Magnificent Seven. The Magnificent Seven was a Western reimagining of Seven Samurai. So it's definitely got precedence. Warhammer 40k and Rebel Moon, what they have in common. So first up, we have this robot. He's made by the Mechanicus. Now, the Mechanicus in 40k, well, there's the Adeptus Mechanicus. They make robots. They make robots for the Imperium. Now, 40k, Imperium is the empire of humanity. In Rebel Moon, the Imperium is basically the same. It's the baddies. Then there's rebels. Now, the rebels in Rebel Moon are called Blood Axes. The Blood Axes in Warhammer 40,000 are one of the Orc clans. There's 6 great Orc clans. There's obviously the Blood Axes, I've said. There's the Goths, the Bad Moons, the Snakebites, Evil Sons, and the Death Skulls. Some of the characters sound the same as well. There's a general, or a former general, Titus.
We are beyond redemption. What about revenge?
Warhammer 40,000 has a Titus. In fact, he's the Space Marine in the rather aptly named game Space Marine. The baddies will sound familiar too. So the Imperium leader is Belisarius.
One moment. I do love this part.
In Warhammer 40,000, Belisarius Cawl, one of the leaders of the Adeptus Mechanicus, he's the guy who brought us the Primaris Space Marines. Another bad guy, Atticus Noble, where you can see here, he looks like a commissar. And then the troops he lead, well, they look like Cadians. And in fact, those troops are called the Militarium. Well, the Imperial Guard in Warhammer 40,000 is the Astra Militarium. And in fact, some of the scenes in the film do look like they're straight from the pages of Warhammer 40,000. Check out this scene from the film. And then this from Cadia Stands. There's priests in red robes in Rebel Moon. They look very familiar, kind of similar to the tech priests of Warhammer 40,000. They also always wear red and masks. And the weaponry that they create, the weapons feel like 40k weapons. The lasgun, they have lasguns, and they look very chunky. They're big, chunky looking weapons. You can see the pistols, the rifles, very substantial. These aren't elegant weapons.
We're gonna have to fight.
And then the final one that I've heard is in Rebel Moon the king is dead, so the Emperor's king is dead, and in Warhammer 40,000 they're ruled by a corpse god. So in a way, both the film and the game are ruled by corpses. I don't really think that's the case. I think that one's a bit of a stretch. So that's really it. There's spaceships, there's big spaceships, which is, you could say, like a Battlefleet Gothic ship, I suppose. The bad guys in Rebel Moon are essentially space Nazis, which, 40k is basically about, but it's not really unique to 40k, that. Do I think this is a 40k film? Not really. 40k is a very dark setting. There's a lot of war. The point is, there's nothing but war. There's an eternity of it. Rebel Moon, the Imperium are very bad, and it's pretty clear they're bad. They don't have that. It doesn't have that endlessness. And in fact, the characters we're following individual characters, whereas I think 40,000 would need to be more about armies, giant armies, and kind of, rather than epic fights. 40k is epic battles. So looking at the other characters, so General Belisarius, well, that's the same name as a famous Byzantine general who was actually known as the Last Roman. Mechanicus, that's a Latin word meaning mechanical. Blood axe, well, there was an Eric Blood Axe in the 10th century. He was a Viking, and he actually ruled Northumbria in England for a little while. Imperium, that's another Latin word. It means power, or even less surprisingly, it means empire. And then Titus was another Roman general, covered in the play Titus Andronicus, which is a spectacularly dull play, and the only play I've ever actually walked out of. As for the scenes and uniforms, I mean, they're all inspired by various military uniforms or priestly robes throughout history. So what I'm going to do is pretty much leave you on this one image here, which is Cardinal Richelieu, who is both rocking badass armour and priestly robes at the same time. So thanks for listening. Please like, subscribe, share. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if I've missed anything, and let me know what you thought of the film.